So it's all happening now with Prince Andrew, or at least we're going to find out what the court says. And this is with the allegations against him from Virginia Giuffre. Now, before I get into this, because I have taken a load of notes to just check a few things, I think one of the things that's immediately polarizing is his connection to Epstein. Also, it's generally noted in the UK at least, he's not a popular royal. Also, despite some rumours, the royal family isn't from the UK isn't popular with everybody. So, and I'm just putting this out there immediately because I'm not trying to dissect anything to do with whether I like him or not. Just the basis of what is happening. Because I find, which is one of the things I love about social media, is you can see the polarizing differences between people. And regardless of the facts, they hate on somebody anyway. And Prince Andrew is one of those people that people just hate him. And I've got no skin in the game when it comes to him. Like I said, he's not the UK's most popular royal. So the allegation by Virginia Giuffre says that she is the victim of sex trafficking and abuse by Jeffrey Epstein, who allegedly committed suicide. Now, there are 3 allegations against Prince Andrew. And one of the things that makes this a little bit complicated is that in 2009, Giuffre accepted a $500,000 settlement from Epstein. And in that, she dropped the lawsuit. And in the settlement, she agreed to and stated she would forever discharge any person or entity who could have been involved. And that this is a final resolution of the disputed claim. Now, in that settlement, people were named. Prince Andrew was never named. Andrew's lawyers are arguing that this settlement, this claim that she is making, has already been settled against the Epsteins, and that she signed technically a kind of non-disclosure, but accepted $500,000 to never talk about it again and never go after anybody. And actually, in law at least, tied her hands to that she legally isn't allowed to try and have anyone charged for this. Her lawyers argue that there were no names mentioned. She didn't name Prince Andrew at the time, so it doesn't apply to him. They're also saying because it was done in the state of Florida, that's where that case took place, it doesn't apply outside of Florida. Now, this is the problem with the law in lots of countries, is how do you apply it? Because on paper, there's that, everything she said and everything I've read on paper clearly states that she took a settlement and agreed, I will never try and have anyone prosecuting again, which is basically, I'm never going to talk about this or go to court. And that's what I'm saying, which is basically saying I'm never going to have anyone prosecuted for this. Now she's come back and said, no, I want to prosecute people for this. And I'm quite clear cut on this. I don't think you should be allowed to have settlements like that. But again, the problem with that is, does somebody think, hang on a second, if you won this case, you would only be entitled to $500,000. If we can get $500,000 now, you don't have to go through the trauma of that. So there's a valid argument for it. But honestly, I think once you agreed to take that route and take the money, I don't think you should be allowed to then later prosecute, which is what this first court case is going to be. And the judge will either throw it out on that basis or he'll allow it. So, and we won't know just yet. That's coming up soon. So that's the legalities and the technicalities sorted and kind of resolved. But the next bit is, did he do it? Or should I say, do I believe he did it? And this is the thing. I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't want to believe that Prince Andrew knowingly slept with an underage girl and knew she was being trafficked, and was effectively a sex slave, being held against her will, or being held, as I understand it, by threats. And this apparently started when she was 16, but she didn't meet Andrew until she was 70. I don't want to believe that Prince Andrew knowingly do that. I do definitely believe he might well have known that she was an escort, say, a prostitute, and that she was a young girl but was consenting. Do I believe that a grown male adult had sex with a young prostitute? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't hesitate. Do I believe that lots of wealthy, rich, famous people keep these, shall we say, confidants in a vicinity? Yeah, of course they do. It's not even that unknown. It's quite common for very wealthy people, especially ones who aren't married, to actually kind of have escorts on the payroll, so to speak. So I definitely believe that. I definitely believe. Now he's disputing having never met her, and isn't able to explain why there's a photograph of him with her. But this is the tricky bit. This is the bit that's really, really tricky. Did he know that she was 17? Did he know that she was being forced? And that's the bit. And I don't want to believe he did know. Do I believe he's capable of that? I believe lots of people are capable of that. Because here's the thing that I realised. When you look at people like I'm not rich, I'm not powerful, I'm not even famous. Okay? So I'm not in a position to do that to anyone, really. And when you look at it, it's only ever rich, powerful people who do this. And the reason I come to that conclusion is because I was sitting there thinking about this when I was writing my notes. And I was just like, why would you risk everything for that? Why would you do that? You know, you're wealthy, you're well connected, you're a member of the royal family. You're living a dream compared to 99% of the world. Why would you risk any of that? Why? It just makes no fucking sense. But then I'm a working class lad who spent a large majority of his life without a pot to piss in. So and anyone in that position, if you're in that position, you're like, hang on, if I had that, I'd love that. That'd be more than enough for me. Why would I have to go chasing underage girls knowing that they're being trafficked for sex? It would make no sense to you in a million years. You would just be like, if you weren't in a good, healthy relationship, you would just have an escort. You would just go and play the field. You would just be living the dream. But that's because we're starting from a place of having nothing. So I'm not capable of understanding why you would risk all of that for sex. But that's when I realised, whenever you see these sex rings, it's always rich, powerful people. And there's some cultural exceptions to that, I know. There are. but generally in the West, white people like me, but around the world, the whole initial Taken with Liam Neeson was based on millionaires and billionaires bidding for kidnapped girls, all below a certain age, of a certain look. That's not fiction. That happens. And yeah, and when I thought about that more and more, I realised just what he may well be capable of. And I'm trying to separate constructively what I just don't want it to be true. And that's going to be the ultimate thing, is where do you sit with this? Setting aside any hate you might have for the royal family, setting aside any dislike you might have for the guy, how comfortable am I as a person? How comfortable am I thinking that this growing ass male who had everything and would have no trouble pulling women, no trouble having sex, no, that's not enough. I've got to have that. And it takes you down to the dark depths of the worst of humanity. So we'll find out anyway. Soon enough, we'll find out whether or not this is really going to court. The media are having a field day. They're going to do everything in their power to not let it drop. And the Queen has stripped Andrew of all his titles. So people are definitely worried. People are definitely nervous. Let's see how this unfolds. So let me know what you think. Do you think he did it? Or interestingly, if you don't think he did it, why don't you think he did it? Because that's the thing that I really struggled with. I don't think he did it, but as I was trying to figure it out, I'm not able to tell you why I didn't think he did it. And that's when I realised. Because I don't want him to have done it. Let me know what you think. Comment below.